Hello, I'm Dr Gareth Moore.
And I'm Laura Jane Eyre.
And we're puzzle and brain training authors. But in this video, we're going to be solving part 4 of this, the escape and solve mystery, Cluedo, Treachery at Tudor Mansion. We're quite a long way into the solve
We
at the moment.
are. This is final part, we believe. We hope. Unless this goes horribly wrong, then yes, this is our final part.
We have just finished assembling the board. We put the cellar in the middle. If you want to get up to speed, feel free to watch videos 1, 2 and 3 of this. Parts 1, 2 and 3. We'll put links in the description underneath. They may appear at the top right of your screen as well. Alright, so we've just put board E in the middle and now we need to add deck 4. Let's not forget to do that. Presumably this is going to say deck 4 on it.
We've added some access in the form of a staircase down to board E, which is fun.
There we go.
Right, can I have those?
Yes, you can.
How exciting. I don't know whose go it is.
What else do we have to do?
That was it.
Put 390 on the board, we've done that.
Done it.
Right, so now whose go is it? I went to the billiard table. Have we been to 330?
Yeah, that was the dartboard.
Have we been to 300?
No.
Should we do that first?
Let's do that first, actually.
Yeah, where are you, by the way?
I'm here.
You came off the board.
I've been removed. Right, 300. Let's have a look. What's going on? Dozens of used crystalline glasses are collecting dust behind the dimly lit bar. Take card 303. Dr. Orchid. Read card 335, which is neither of us.
It says 355.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
3. Oh my gosh, I was going to say it again. 355. Also, what do you think of crystalline glasses? Just crystal.
It means crystal glass.
Like a cut glass. Yeah. Right. 355. Clue. Where were you when the lights went off? I came to the billiard room for some space to think, and instead I found Colonel Mustard firing off his revolver.
Firing off, that well-known verb that people use. But I have to say, surely everyone would have heard him firing his revolver, right?
You would think so, but also if that was used as a weapon, you'd hear it. Anyway,
and
we can add that to our
303.
collection of statements that we've got from other people.
This is a big collection of stuff.
Where they think they were at the time when the lights went out, which happens in part 1. Right, clue.
A wine glass. And it has a very subtle piece of lipstick.
Incredibly subtle lipstick. And also, I wouldn't say that was clean. I know they're collecting dust, but someone hasn't run that through the dishwasher properly. I'm just saying, as we know, the sink in the kitchen is broken, but that is, that's poor. That's poor housekeeping. Right, now I think we can move to the cellar.
Okay.
You can go.
That was him going down the stairs.
It is all looking a bit more murdery down here.
Shall we look at the blood?
Assuming it's blood and not red wine.
Okay, 415.
415. Come on down.
Come on down, literally.
There it is. Oh.
A large pool of red wet liquid shines dimly in the murky cellar. It's hard to say what exactly it is. It's ketchup.
What else is red? Tomato sauce.
That's ketchup.
Oh, yeah.
When I was a child, I went to a McDonald's in Germany and asked for tomato sauce, and they spent ages being really... They spoke English. So it was from Americans. It was an American army base in the US. They spent ages really confused. Eventually he went, oh, you mean ketchup? That's my American accent. It's perfect, isn't it?
There was a lot to unpack there. Yes, that was really good. Yeah. And it sounds like you've got something to unpack there about tomato sauce.
Right, take card 4 and 7. And Miss Scarlet reads card 457.
Right, I'm going to put 4 and 7
Oh,
there.
I'm Miss Scarlet.
You are Miss Scarlet. Do you want to do your best Miss Scarlet voice?
No, but I will read it.
Okay.
Where were you when the lights went out? If you must know, I was cleaning up this spill with Professor Plum. Obviously, we didn't do a great job. But we did hear someone else down here after it went dark. Right, okay, so we've got that statement. And
she said she didn't do a very good job, but there's such an unbelievably obvious stain on the floor.
Yeah, and forward 7.
417 is here. Clue! Unidentified spill. She just, I didn't do a good job. You didn't do any job at all.
Where's that magnifying glass?
Yes, we've got a magic.
Magnifying glass.
Magic. It doesn't actually magnify things. It says...
Wine. You were right, Laura. It's red wine. Can you read that? It says wine in the middle.
Yeah, wine.
It says wine.
Wine.
Okay, so I'm guessing that's telling us that the stain is wine.
Or at least that's what it wants us to think. Who can we really trust?
Well, I feel that factual things that are not said by people we assume are facts.
You would hope so. Right.
So I went to the red wine stain.
You did. I'm going to go to the red wine area over here. Elevator music. 475 is what that looks like.
I agree.
Right. Here we go. 475. You notice some empty wine bottles on the table that looks as though they may have been opened recently. Some of the corks have fallen to the floor and it looks like there may be something else hidden under the table. Take card 447, Professor Plum, which is me. Read card 476. Right. 476, we assume is going to be a testimony saying that he didn't kill anyone, but everyone's saying that. A rope? Question mark? I don't know why that would be down here. I came to the cellar with Miss Scarlet to discuss Black's deception privately. So I'm guessing the other card that we're meant to turn over is A rope! There we go. And it's got some magic words on it. Would you like to use the magic magnifying glass that doesn't magnify things at all?
Yes,
In fact, if anything, it makes them more complex.
It says hemp.
It says hemp. Oh, and we found some hemp fibres.
Did we?
Somewhere, yeah.
I'm glad you were paying attention.
In the conservatory. It's all on our clue cards that we've got hiding in the corner down here, of which we have absolutely vast quantities now.
There are really ridiculously large number of
There is a
clues
lot
to go
going on
through at the
there.
end of this game.
So eventually we're going to have a statement from everybody and then some random extra visuals that we didn't know about yet.
My turn. I'm going to have a look at these random wine bottles. 430.
4:30, okay. 4:30. Dr. Black has an extensive collection of fine wines. A few with strange labels catch your eye. We need 2 puzzle pieces for this, and I suspect that we need a different one with different symbols on it.
Yeah, so the symbols on the wine glasses, and they've got 4-digit numbers. So we can't do anything with that yet.
Interesting. Okay.
Right, my go then.
No.
That was my... it's your go.
Nice try. I'm going to go over here to some other wines. It might as well just say wine cellar on it. I've covered up the number. Oh no, there is no number. Wait, there's nothing to do over there.
You can go here or here.
I can go here. I'm gonna go here. Which looks quite
460.
spooky. 460. I was just excited to explore more wine. Right, 460. You discover a fuse box in a dark corner with ripped wires hanging out the side. Wait a minute. This looks a lot like the wires near the front door. I was just thinking that. Maybe if you can reconnect all the pieces, you can reroute the power to open the mansion and escape. I had forgotten that we're in some sort of electronic lockdown whereby the lights are back on, but we can't leave. That's what's going on
I assume
here.
they just lock the doors.
I think so. Take card 465 and place card 420 on the board.
Okay, 465 and 420.
465 and 420. 465.
Let's look at 465 first.
Which is here. So that can go... Is this supposed to... Oh, no, it's not supposed to go on the board yet.
That's a part of a 3-part puzzle.
That's part of a 3-part puzzle. And this can go on the board in the hall, I think.
Yeah, it's showing the door there.
But it's actually this way around, isn't it?
No, it's that's
I'm
the
so
door.
confused. Oh, the front door, yes. Trying to line this up because it's meant to line up with...
So we now have another location we can go to.
We have
there.
another location that we can go to. Shall I
First,
go there?
No, let's go here first.
Okay.
Yeah, 445.
445.
In my opinion.
Is it your go? I actually still think it's my go, but that's fine. Right,
Well,
445. Right, what have we got?
Symbols.
2
so this goes with
puzzle
N2.
pieces needed to solve. Yeah, so that's our wine symbols.
It is, isn't it?
It is our wine symbols.
Well, we've got this one, 1447.
It's really difficult to see on here, but some of these numbers are bold on these dates. Yeah, I know. I only just clocked it because I was thinking, how are they dates? They're dates on the wines. You know,
wow, 1447.
This is vinegar now, but this has a bold 1. There's a bold 5, a 7, and a 4. So I'm guessing we need stripes at the top, which would give us 1.
Oh, do you think? I was reading it that way because of the underline. So
Oh,
I
sure.
think that's first, which is 4 from this bottle, right? So we've got 4, then that symbol. We've got
which is 5.
and then this symbol.
3. No, 1.
451.
451.
Yeah, I agreed.
And we have a 451, so that's a good sign. Solved. Crate. Move that so you can see it. You spin the dials of the lock to the correct numbers. The crate opens and you find...
Card 452.
Card 452. Let's hope it's not an anticlimax. Ooh, this is looking very promising. So we're going to add those together. So it says that we need 3 puzzle pieces to solve this. So we're going to
need to go to the door.
We need another one. I'm going to go to the door now. 400.
400.
Let's go. Dun, dun, dun. Here it is. I'm just put it down to what we've got. Okay, there we go. So
we need to solve this puzzle somehow.
we need to solve that puzzle somehow.
So presumably we're tracing the routes.
Yeah.
I guess that needs to very slightly overlap to actually line up. All right.
Beautiful.
So
That's
there's
a work of art.
Yeah. So we've got red, blue, green. Do we have a reason to read them
Well,
in
it
any
says
order?
BGR there.
Oh.
So I feel like maybe
Blue, green, red. So I guess we just trace the route and see where do we start? Do we start here or do we start here?
That's a good question.
Well, maybe it won't matter.
So should we try from this end and do blue, green, red, but do...
Yeah, okay.
Will it end up the same?
I don't know. Let's work it out. So we start with blue. We've got
we
1.
Start with 1
plus 5 is 6. Minus 4 is 2. Plus 2 is 4. Minus 0 is 4.
So 4 again.
And then we've got green, which is 6. Plus 6 is 12. Minus 4 is 8. Plus 8 is 16, right? Minus 8 is back to 8. And then red is 1. Plus 2 is 3. Plus 3 is 6. Plus 4 is 10. Minus 7 is 3. So we've got
483.
483.
Right, solved. Wires.
You reconnect all the wires and the power is rerouted. It hums with a satisfying bzzz. Upstairs, the lever by the mansion's entrance sparks to life. I guess this is this lever.
Ooh.
Discard these cards and take card 484.
Okay, 484.
Finally, the end is in sight.
You all hurry upstairs, get to the front door, and are about to pull the lever when you hear the sirens outside. The police! That is a cat trying to get in.
That was a cat, yeah.
The police, not a cat.
It's the sound of the police.
They must have been alerted when the mansion went into lockdown. It won't be long before they discover Black's body and start asking questions like, why are there so many cats in here? Have you gathered enough evidence to prove who did it? I don't know. If you aren't ready to make an accusation, set a timer for 5 minutes. You may search around the mansion for any clues you might have missed, which is, I guess, any places that we haven't been to yet. But I think we've been to all of them.
I think we have.
When the timer runs out, draw card 500.
All right. So we need to work out who killed Professor Black, in what room, and with what weapon. And we assume it's one person, one weapon, and one room.
We do.
Right.
Otherwise, it'd be a bit unfair.
So I guess the first thing we need to do is clear this away.
And have a look at what
maybe
we've
we
got.
need the layout. We may need the layout of it, mightn't we?
We might do, but we can put it back together very easily, whereas I think what we need to do is have a look at all the clues that we've got, right?
Yes. Okay. Well, let's just push this aside and lay out all the clues.
Seamlessly. Right, you've got all the clues, all the statements, and all the everythings.
Right, so there's different types of clue. There's people statements, there's objects, there's places in the building, and then there's everything else, right?
And then there's everything else. So we haven't seen every weapon, have we?
Every traditional clue
Have we
weapon.
seen
Maybe
every-
there's only 3 types of clue, actually.
I don't know.
Objects,
Yeah, there's random objects, statements.
yeah. Candlestick, wrench, rope, lead pipe.
Oh, we have. I just
knife.
forgot quite a lot of these came up.
No, we haven't seen all 6 of the standard item objects.
What's the other one? A revolver.
Oh, we did hear about a revolver.
We heard about a revolver.
We just didn't get a card for
We
it.
didn't get it.
So,
Do you think we were supposed to?
we do need the map because it says Black was dragged from an adjacent room. But
Yeah.
there is a map in the book we can probably use for the
We can
purposes of this.
use. It's not very clear, but he was found in the study. So he was dragged in. But when it says adjacent, does it mean any room? Basically, that it wasn't the study?
Adjacent can mean various things, can't it? I assumed by adjacent it meant a room you could go into through a door. So we remember where the doors were.
Yeah.
They weren't here, but otherwise they were all the way around the outside and they were here. And there was also from here to here. So adjacent room, I think it means conservatory or entrance hall, because that's downstairs as well. So I'm pretty clear that from this clue, Black was dragged from an adjacent room, which we found in the study here, that it's telling us he was murdered in the conservatory or the entrance hall.
Assuming that means assuming adjacent is supposed to tell us that means it came from one of the rooms next door.
Yes.
And not just rule out the study. But anyway, so we've got that for now.
Yes.
Shall we start with looking at the statements and see what's contradicting and
Yeah, so on one of the statements it explained, didn't it? On one of the other cards, which we've discarded now, actually, it said that someone may be lying, didn't it?
It said that they're all saying where they were at the time of the blackout and any of them could be lying.
Oh, not just one?
It said anyone could be lying. Keep your wit about you.
Oh, okay. All right. So, well, this is a bit confusing. So they're all in different locations, aren't they?
They're all. Some of them are saying they're in the same place.
I guess we don't need to worry about where we took the card from. Just assume just what's written on it,
It's just
right?
where they're saying where they were. So that's Professor Plum is saying that he was in the cellar with Miss Scarlet. What does Miss Scarlet say? I was in the cellar with Professor Plum.
So let's assume they're telling the truth.
Let's assume they're telling the truth.
And therefore they didn't murder him.
They corroborate with each other. For now,
We're going to assume it's all an instantaneous thing. So wherever they were when the light went out is when the murder took place. I think otherwise it's too confusing to work it out.
Okay. I came to the billiard room for some space, and instead I found Colonel Mustard firing his revolver. What does he say? I was so angry I stormed into another room. It could have been the lounge or the billiard room, but I was able to speak with one of these fine ladies when there. So they corroborate with each other.
They do corroborate. Okay.
Okay.
And then we've got...
But I think I remember that these two don't corroborate each other, the ones you're about to pick. So sorry for the mess. I was in dire need of a cup of tea after all the fuss. I was in the kitchen with the power cut, trying to help myself. And Reverend Green says he was alone in the kitchen.
Right. So one of those two is the murderer.
One of those two is lying. Either he wasn't alone or she wasn't in the kitchen.
And we've already said that the kitchen can't be where the murder took place, right?
It's not adjacent.
So one of them was in fact in the entrance hall of the conservatory.
Sure. Yeah, because no one else has said that they're in there. Let's get rid of those for
eliminate
now.
those and keep these two
We
as
think
our
it's one of
suspects.
those two. Okay.
And then in terms of weapons, they all say on different things on them,
They all
right?
say different things on them.
What were you going to say? Were you going to say about the hemp?
I was going to say that this has been confirmed as wine. So does
Yes.
that also corroborate with the idea that they were down there
Yeah, I think so. Let's get rid of
sorting out the
that.
wine? So we think that's to do with wine.
Those are off the camera then. Let's put these on the camera. I mean, should we look at the objects or should we look at the classic objects or should we look at these? Let's look at these. What is the purpose of all these
The
bits?
weapons. Okay, should we remind ourselves of what they all say on them? And should we try and tidy this up a bit? Because this is giving me...
All right, well, let's move that stuff off the left.
Yeah.
Okay, let's sort these out.
Should we remind ourselves what they say on them? We've got the magic
Yeah.
magnifying glass, which is actually quite hard to read.
So this one says green. So presumably the knife... Presumably
mean
this clue, but
It says green. Should we just put that with Professor Green? No,
Yeah.
Reverend Green.
Yeah, but Reverend Green. Let's put those
Okay.
together.
Lead pipe.
Says none.
Oh, it's fingerprints. It's whose fingerprints are on it.
Oh, right.
Because look, there's fingerprints
Let's
here.
look at the cards of them. It doesn't show their fingerprints on them, does it?
No, but I think it's saying...
The knife had Reverend Green's fingerprints.
Yeah, so we can put that with him. That's got no fingerprints on it.
So if it's got none, then we
Guessing
assume
that's
we
not the
discard
weapon.
it. Yeah. This one says none, so we'll discard it. We looked at these in the videos. This is black. So
Which
black,
checks out because he said
put it in the
he
safe.
locked it in the safe. Yeah.
So assume it's not that.
Yeah, and this one says... Did it say hemp on it?
It
Yeah,
says
and
hemp.
so what I was going to say is that we found some hemp fibres in the conservatory.
Okay, so presumably these go together. We don't know about these two. This goes with
They
green.
go together.
So we do now have one fingerprint on a weapon, and it's
We've got a
Green's
fingerprint on a weapon and it's Green's fingerprint, which looks bad.
It does. Was he stabbed?
We don't know.
Okay.
That would tell us though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and we've got ripped wires in the entrance hall. So this is someone locking everyone in, which would suggest the murder took place in the hall. Wouldn't it?
Maybe.
What does this envelope
Yeah,
say?
what
So the
did that
envelope
say?
says
That
on
said
it.
Scarlet, didn't it?
It says meeting in the cellar. We need to talk, and it says Scarlet. So we think this is corroborating what we've already.
And she said she was in the cellar, wasn't she? So perhaps she went down there.
Dr. Black's room was in the conservatory, and the wine glass was in the billiard room. So who said they were in the billiard room?
Orchid said she was in the billiard room.
So that potentially, because obviously only women wear lipstick, potentially.
Is she wearing lipstick though in her picture? No, Miss Scarlet's wearing lipstick in her picture.
Oh, right. So why was her wine glass in the billiard room?
Why was her wine glass in the billiard room?
We can't. I don't feel. But who's their third, fourth? There's a lady here. Is she wearing lipstick?
No.
We've got pictures of them here from the start of the game.
That lipstick's got to be important.
I agree.
He's not wearing lipstick. She's wearing red lipstick.
Yeah.
But she said she was in the
Well,
billiard
she's
room.
wearing red lipstick too.
It's not red. I would call it mulberry.
I think she's wearing lipstick as well.
But it's pink. This is very obviously red lipstick, I would say.
Which would suggest. But then,
she said she was in the cellar.
yes.
Interesting.
But they were
okay.
drinking wine. It's a bit confusing actually now, isn't it?
Yeah, Dr. Black's ring was in the conservatory.
So I think we can. I think we're meant to conclude from this that he was murdered in the entrance hall, which is adjacent to the study, which is fine per this.
But also, so for example, the rope was found in the cellar,
With hemp fibres. Which
but
was found
hemp
in the
fibres
conservatory.
were found in the conservatory. So was the rope moved from the cellar to the conservatory to murder him, and then his body was dragged into the study?
Yeah, it's actually very confusing.
Yeah, it's not as straightforward as I thought it would be. Then there's a feather in the study. Is there anything significant on that? I'm not sure how the feather and the ring tie into this, unless they're...
To eliminate someone. So Dr. Black's ring, I don't think there's anything extra on that. I don't think you can read anything in the middle of it. No,
No, but wouldn't that be cool?
that would be cool.
Oh, I'm a bit lost now.
I'm a bit stuck as well. Let's assume. Well, so my guess would be green knife, entrance hall. That's the straightforward explanation.
But then...
As long as you ignore the wine glass and you ignore the hemp and the rope.
But you've got entrance hall here from the fact that he ripped the wires out there. So you think he ripped the wires out and then killed him there?
Well, the ripped wires are either to
They must have happened before.
The ripped wires are either to turn the lights out or to lock the door, or
Right.
both. We don't know which, because in this game at the start we reconnected the wires to put the lights on.
Yeah, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the murder happened in the same place.
No, but I think we have to assume everything happened all at one... No, you're right.
This is what I mean. It's like, how much is a reasonable assumption for the game?
Yes. It's interesting, isn't it? So how was he murdered? We don't actually know how he was murdered. Surely you would know if he'd been... maybe the rope was used to move a body. Although it was no blood on it, right? So this thing under here just says hemp.
Does say hemp. Does that look bloody to you?
Maybe, a bit.
Not really. So his ring was in the conservatory. My instinct says that he was murdered in the conservatory. It seems too obvious to have Professor Plum's fingerprints to be the only one that are on a murder weapon. Don't you think?
You mean Reverend Green's?
Yes, I do. I absolutely do. Do you know what I mean, though?
Well, he has mentioned the tableware as well. So there's actually a reason for his fingerprints to be on it. Perhaps we're meant to conclude from this that, in fact, this is an alibi. So rather than this, maybe this is meant to, maybe we're misunderstanding. Maybe this is his alibi. I'm in the kitchen looking at the tableware and I've touched a knife. So perhaps we're meant to actually conclude that
it's not him.
Yeah, and that leaves Mrs. Peacock as the murderer.
Because he said he was alone and she says
she wasn't in the kitchen. So she must have been... And she wasn't in the billiard room or the cellar. So by elimination, she must have been in the lounge, entrance hall, study or conservatory.
So far, we've got Colonel Mustard and Dr. Orchid in...
the billiard room.
The billiard room together.
He couldn't remember if he was in the lounge.
Lounge or billiard room. But... And also, he says, speak with one of these fine ladies when I'm in here. But... the lady that was in the billiard room, we think, was Miss Scarlet.
Oh, so on that basis, she's lying.
Possibly.
Oh, this is getting confusing.
I don't know how we know. Are we missing something?
I don't think so. Well, how many cards? Well, where's your deck of cards?
My deck of cards is here.
What's left?
There's one.
Well, there's a few cards we haven't taken. Well, 500 is for the story ending. We know
and one probably isn't the one to take. So should we see what's on these?
One says, oops, you do not need to take this.
Yeah, you go.
Oh, this is if you get... in part 2, I think, you get the plans incorrect. Oh, this is just you could shine a light on it. So we haven't missed.
So we've got
anything.
everything.
We've got everything.
These are the last two that we'll need to take.
And there was wine spilled in the cellar.
There was wine in the cellar, but the wine glass is in the billiard room.
Yeah, and we'll assume because it's got lipstick on it, it would have been clean prior to that. Well, there are some hints in the back of the book. I wonder if you can use them to the instruction book to be clear.
Can you do? Yeah.
So they apply to this. They apply to the cards. Oops.
Hints.
I think they're just applying to the cards. I don't think they apply to the end of the story. No, they don't. They just help you with the so-called puzzles.
Ah, we've reached an impasse intellectually. Because I really don't understand how you're meant to... There's probably something that we're missing.
Well, I feel you could argue various ways. A rope. I don't know why that would be down here. I came to the cellar with Miss Scarlet to discuss Black's deception privately. Why was there a rope in the cellar? The rope says hemp on it. Hemp says conservatory. So presumably you're meant to infer that the rope would be... Maybe there's a whole story meant to be working out.
This is what I mean. Like, maybe he brought the rope down to the cellar and he found Miss Scarlet there, who had previously been in the billiard room, but she was wanting to meet Professor Plum downstairs. And
yeah, it might well be something like that.
I don't know.
So in terms of the rooms, the conservatory is also a potential location for a murderer. So perhaps what's meant to have happened is that the rope has been used to drag him from the conservatory into the study next door.
And then it's been discarded in the cellar?
And then the person who did the murder then went down to the cellar? In which case
it's one of...
Maybe you're meant
these two?
In which case it could be her. So story-wise...
But what if she was secretly in the billiard room with, Colonel Mustard because they're having an affair?
So,
do you know what I mean? I'm just like, what are we missing? Because we don't know that this is true.
So story-wise, they were already having a party in the mansion anyway. So the fact that there's lipstick on here is actually not in itself meaningful in that respect. The fact that on that basis, nothing's meaningful.
Yeah.
Apart from where they were when the lights went out. Well, look, I think we should go back to our first conclusion, which is that I think that the two who are contradicting each other are clearly green and... that's not actually like cards.
Green and blue.
Green and blue contradict each other.
Green and peacock.
And I think that probably the point of the knife with Green's
That doesn't look like a
fingerprint on.
silver knife, though, does it?
I agree, but there've been
But
inconsistencies in the story bits,
Yeah.
haven't there? So I think that's meant to be a corroboration.
Right.
Therefore, I think she's the murderer, because she's the only person who was on her own.
But then what's the weapon?
Well, it must be the rope, because the fact that the rope's the only one left over, right? We've already eliminated all the other weapons on the basis that once you've eliminated everything else, what's left is the murder
She's got gloves
weapon.
on. She's wearing gloves.
In the picture.
So it wouldn't necessarily have fingerprints on if she used it.
Right, okay. Maybe that's why she's wearing gloves.
Maybe that's why she's wearing gloves.
Yes.
Okay.
So let's assume that...
Okay, let's follow this line of inquiry. So it's Mrs. Peacock with a weapon,
Which is the rope.
or one of the other ones that we discarded because they didn't have any fingerprints on.
But no, this works. Because if it's the rope, then we have a location. Because the rope connects to the hemp, which was in the conservatory. So he was murdered with the rope by Mrs. Peacock in the conservatory.
You don't think it's one?
Which is next to
you
the
don't think
study.
it could be one of the other weapons? I mean, I think that's our best line of inquiry now.
Oh, I think that's
But just
right.
the fact that she's wearing gloves,
Yeah.
feels significant.
Yeah, because she murdered
It says
him.
there's no fingerprints on it. Should we do it?
Yeah, absolutely. You pull back the lever and it lands with an audible thunk. The bolts and locks release and the doors swing wide open. Congratulations, you escaped the mansion. The police detectives approach and ask if you know what tripped the alarms and shut down the mansion. You take turns explaining Dr. Black's attempt to blackmail all of you and how you discovered he was murdered after the lights went off. The detective needs to know who killed him and with what weapon. Why are you laughing?
No, because I'm laughing at the fact that everyone would be like, he had these horrible, terrible, illegal secrets about all of us, and you've just said that to the police.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Read card 501.
Okay. Make an accusation for the detective. Discuss your clues. Okay, yeah, we've done this.
Collected statements to determine who killed him, what, with, where. Open the solve packet.
Okay, let's open the solve
Don't
packet. So
mind
we
if
think
we
it's
do.
Professor Peacock
We
with the
think
rope.
we think it's Mrs. Peacock
Oh, yeah,
with the
Mrs.
rope
Peacock.
in the conservatory.
Yes. Always get that wrong.
And this says solve packet.
Dun.
Right. Guess correctly. We're supposed to be start here. Mrs. Peacock in the conservatory with the rope.
Yay!
We got there.
So the gloves actually wasn't relevant, but the rest of it...
Well, the gloves may have been a clue, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe
Yeah.
she's always drawn with the gloves. I mean, on the character cards.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a shame because that would have been a good, like, there's actually no fingerprints on it. But anyway.
Or maybe it says that. We
Hey,
haven't
we
read
got
it yet.
there. Okay, let's have a look.
Right.
Oh.
Guessed wrong. Read this. Well, no, we guessed right.
Oh, no.
What?
Oh, yes, no, that's fine. I thought it was saying you're wrong, but no.
If you guessed wrong, read this.
Yeah, but we
If
didn't.
you guessed correct, read this. The front, actually, I think we're probably meant to unfold this piece of paper.
Shall we?
Yes.
There we go.
Guess correctly, read this. The front of the mansion is bathed in the pulsing glow of police lights, illuminating Mrs. Peacock's defiant expression as the detectives guide her into the back of a police car.
I had to do it.
She says to you in parting.
Black was a crook and he was going to ruin all of us. I did it to protect us. You should be thanking me, but no, you're all far too clever. Just wait, I'll see you at my trial.
That's enough of you.
The officer shuts the door on Peacock's protest and turns to the rest of you.
You provided us enough evidence. You're free to go.
Oh, read the back of this page. What
Is
does
this
it
going to be an
say?
explanation, right?
Maybe. Oh, yes, it is.
So, the murder. After Black revealed his plans to blackmail you, you all had good reason to get rid of him, especially Mrs. Peacock. She was no stranger to murder. Black knew the twice-widowed Peacock had killed her husbands for their money, and she would do anything to keep him from telling the secret. So, in the aftermath of his announcement, she lured Dr. Black to the conservatory and strangled him with a rope.
Da-da-da. There was a struggle by the sofa and hemp fibres were left on the rug as Dr. Black fought for his life. His ring was flung into the bushes. From there, Mrs. Peacock dragged his body into the study and hid him in a wardrobe. When she noticed the drag marks his shoes had left, she panicked and realised she needed to create a distraction. A power cut was just the thing to confuse everyone and give her a chance to put space between her and Black.
Oh, right, so we didn't notice that, did we? So the ring, the fact that his ring was found in the conservatory was...
Well, that was actually my main reason for thinking it was in the conservatory.
really?
Yeah, but that seems so obvious that there's like his personal effect there.
Well, I mean, it's his mansion,
it's his
though.
house.
He might have
Yeah,
left it
yeah.
there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So she ran out of the study, knocking over a suit of armour in her rush and getting a feather from her dress stuck in the helmet.
Is there a feather in her dress?
Well,
If there is on her outfit, then maybe we should have spotted
a feather from her dress stuck in the helmet.
But how do we know that she's wearing a feathery dress? Is she on her? That would be...
It doesn't show a feather from her dress. In fact, it doesn't have that dress. Surely doesn't have feathers on.
That's not relevant at all.
In her statement picture, what on the back of it is just the number, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well we weren't Maybe they were supposed to be a drawing of her with feathers on, which wasn't.
Oh, we're supposed to know that. A feather from her dress. That's so random.
There is no feather on her dress. You're right.
She went straight to the fuse box in the hall and ripped the wires out, plunging the mansion into darkness. Next, she went to the cellar and tossed the rope under a table. She barely made it back to the hall in time for everyone to gather in the gloom. She almost got away with it. But thanks to your quick thinking and deductive reasoning, she'll finally pay for her crimes.
It says finally. I mean, she's been found guilty in less than an hour, so I wouldn't say finally comes into it. There we go.
Well, I think more like because she killed 2 other people beforehand.
Oh, right. That actually makes sense.
This
That's
is actually part 3 for
Cluedo.
her. That was it.
Treachery at Tudor Mansion, and it is now, as the bottom of the box says,
Solved.
Well, there we go.
Hooray.
Did you enjoy that?
I did enjoy that. I did. I'm still bothered about this feather. Why did this feather come into it?
There's no picture of her with
There's no
feathers
picture
on,
of her
so
with
that
feathers.
doesn't make any sense. But the rest of it, we actually got right. So
Hooray.
on that basis, I feel it's a wonderful, brilliant game. Whereas if we got it wrong, I'd be like, it's stupid.
Terrible.
Can't get it.
Nightmare.
Well, there we go. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you do, please feel free to comment down below. Also, feel free to like the video, and if you would choose to, it would be great if you subscribed as well, so you can see our future videos.
Or past videos.
Yes,
again.
that's right. Plenty of them as well. We've done over 50 of these solves.
We have.
Including another Cluedo box, which you might enjoy if you enjoyed this one.
I think you might.
But otherwise, pretty much all that remains is for me to say goodbye.
And for me to say goodbye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.